Software development is a highly opinionated profession. Have you been on Twitter, right? What's the best language? What's the best platform? What's the best framework? Mobile dev, web dev, even within mobile dev, should you write native or cross-platform? Are boot camps worth it, right? Everyone has an opinion, and it can be daunting for someone new to this world. Well, you shouldn't listen to the vast majority of those opinions or advice, and here's why. There are so many different ways to have success as a software developer, and not only is every path to success different for each person, but even the definition of success is different, right? Maybe success to you is making the most money or working at a FAANG company and having that prestige. Maybe success to you is working at a small startup and having a lot of impact on that product and helping get it off the ground. Maybe success to you is launching your own product, being your own boss, working on whatever you want to work on when you want to work on it. Maybe success is being a digital nomad, a freelancer, traveling the world and working from coffee shops, at some exotic location, right? Success is different for everyone. And this is a profession where you can find a situation that is very suitable to your interest, your strengths, your desires, your goals. Take me, for example. I'm an Apple fan. I love to create well-designed, consumer-facing products that users get to touch and use what I built. That's what attracts me to development. So being a native iOS developer really fits my strengths, my interests, my desires, my goals perfectly. If I were a web developer working on APIs and databases, I wouldn't be very interested in it. I would probably suck at it. Web development would not be for me. It would not set me up for success. It doesn't matter if web developers make the most money or there's way more web developer jobs than iOS developer jobs. All of that is irrelevant for me, my interests, my strengths, my desires, my goals, right? Web development would not set me up for my definition of success. And that's the whole point. This is a very unique profession. So all these opinions and advice, you got to think about where it's coming from. And I'm sure those giving the advice or the opinions have the best intentions. I'm not saying everybody's out there trying to misguide you, but remember, their definition of success may be different. Their goals, their interests are probably very different. So just keep that all in mind. Let's talk about another type of question or advice that I see before I tell you who you actually should listen to, right? Because I've been telling you, don't listen to people. Well, there are people you should listen to. We'll get to that in a second, but let's talk about what language should I learn? What platform should I go? What profession should I do? And you see those YouTube videos a lot, right? The best language for 2021 or the best software developer profession in 2021 or 2022, whatever. Those make me laugh, right? Because there's no way one person can answer that question with confidence. Now, aside from that, what's best is going to be unique to everyone. Again, the whole, definition of success, what your interests are. Of course, that's going to make the decision unique to you. But even on top of that, it's impossible for one person to know. For example, I've been a native iOS developer for about 6 or 7 years now. That is all I have focused on. I have not spent any time on any other language, any other platform. I chose as my profession, due to my interests and what I wanted to do, to focus on this platform, right? Swift iOS development. And even with that narrow focus, I feel like there's a vast ocean of knowledge in this iOS developer space, Swift space, that I don't know yet. I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. Now imagine if someone like myself is splitting their time between 5 different languages, 4 different platforms. It's impossible to know and go deep and have that deep knowledge on every single one. There's just not enough hours in the day. And not to mention, these platforms and technologies are constantly changing and evolving. So even if you were a specialist on a platform and a language 3-4 years ago, and maybe you spent 5 years, it's very likely that things have changed since you were in that world. So how one person can claim to answer that question, what's the best language, what's the best profession, web dev, mobile dev, whatever, how they can claim to give good advice with a straight face is beyond me. So what advice or opinions should you listen to? So this is a practice in sifting through all the noise and finding the signal, right? The good advice. And I recommend trying to find other developers that have done what you're trying to do and whose definition of success is close to yours. Again, using me as an example, if you want to be a native iOS developer working at early stage startups where you have a lot of impact, then yeah, my advice is probably something you should consider. Do you want to be a freelancer living the digital nomad life, traveling the world? Find a developer that's doing that successfully and go to them for advice. Do you want to join a FAANG company and climb that corporate ladder? Find somebody that's done that. Do you want to go out on your own, build your own product, maybe create your own startup? Find someone that's done that and reach out to them. The point is, if the person giving you advice or giving an opinion hasn't done what you're trying to do, or their definition of success doesn't closely relate to yours, be careful listening to them. I'm not going to say completely ignore them, because there could be some little nuggets, but maybe prioritize their advice a little lower than someone who's actually done what you're trying to do and whose definition of success is close to yours. And the last thing I want to mention, even if you find someone that has done what you were trying to do, take that as one data point. Because again, this is a highly unique profession. Maybe the path they took isn't quite right for you. So if you can find a handful of developers that have done what you're trying to do and whose definition of success matches yours, that is the best. Try to find that little group and then use all that as a whole, multiple data points, to make the best decisions for you in your career, again, based on your strengths, your interests, etc. So hopefully this video will help you sift through all the noise and opinions out there about software development, help you get right to the signal, the valuable stuff, and make better decisions about your career.